Thank you, Alan, and good luck with you and your show on Sunday afternoon. Now, arguably, there is no more fertile racing ground than Indiana soil. And for most drivers who dream of one-day racing at tracks like Indianapolis Motor Speedway, well, that dream starts at short tracks like this. It's time to light it up as the Indiana sun sets this weekend. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is center stage as NASCAR's biggest names prepare to hit the bricks. On a weekend defined by history and tradition, there's also opportunity and determination. Aspiring stars fight cross town to assert their strength. Welcome to the close quarters confines of O'Reilly Raceway Park. The contenders have arrived with one goal: knock off the Nationwide Series' most dominant driver, point leader, last week's winner and defending ORP champ, Kyle Busch.
10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to NASCAR Countdown. I'm Mike Massaro here in what is truly America's heartland of racing. Indiana is the home to nearly 60 racetracks, including this tight, ultra-competitive short track, O'Reilly Raceway Park. Now, of course, Indianapolis, that's the hub of the NASCAR universe this weekend. And to give you an idea where it sits in relation to ORP, here's a look at our Google map. Just about 6 miles north of where we stand right now, that's where you find Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And, well, south you can find O'Reilly Raceway Park. A lot of helicoptering going on between the two facilities with the double-duty drivers. None of them, however, were able to make it here in time for qualifying, but it was a very entertaining qualifying session indeed. Wide open. Stephen Wallace put up a very good lap, just over 110 miles per hour. That'll position him close to the front third. Brad Coleman with Joe Gibbs Racing Equipment. No surprise here. He'll qualify second, but the big surprise, well, the guy's only made a handful of starts in the series. Well, he went out there with a 99 car. We're talking about Trevor Bayne. Trevor Bayne scoring his first career pole. Afterwards, there was quite a celebration with a lap time of almost 111 miles per hour. He's now standing by with Shannon Spake.
Mike, as pole sitter, Trevor Bayne gets to choose which line he wants to start on, the inside or the outside. After qualifying, you didn't know which line you were going to go with. Do you now know, and why did you choose this line?
I know, but I can't tell you why we chose it. I was like, Jerry, I'm not taking responsibility on this one. You're going to have to make the call, but I guess we're going to the outside. You know, they did that last night, too, is what I hear. There's just so much more grip up there. I mean, you got to get up there, and we'd hate to get pinched off on the bottom. So, you know, traditionally you want to be on the inside if you're on the pole, but we'll take the outside tonight and see if we can make it work.
Very first pole for Trevor Bayne. Great starting position for the 18-year-old. Jack?
Well, Brad Coleman, who will start in the second position, all of a sudden he got excited, guys, because now you inherit the inside, in essence, at other racetracks where the pole would be. Third time here with Joe Gibbs Racing today. What's the most important thing for you third time out at O'Reilly Raceway Park?
Most important thing is just get to the finish at this place. I mean, with the double file restarts, it's going to be an awesome race to watch. It's going to be really fun to race, and it's going to be really crazy, but we just got to keep our Joe Gibbs game plan for life, Toyota up there, and be there at the finish. But yeah, I'm excited about starting on the inside because it's like I have the pole, so I'll see what I can do to lead that first lap.
You lit up when you heard that, when Trevor said that he was going to take the outside, and all of a sudden you gave that little slide job move. What do you got something up your sleeves on the start?
8 tires are better than 4, so just kidding. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to be nice, and goal is to get to the end, not wreck on the first corner, you know.
Mike, all's fair until they drop that green flag.
Yeah, then things definitely change. Hey, when it comes to configuration, there's quite a contrast between O'Reilly Raceway Park and Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The corner banking is close, both very flat, but that's where the similarities end. The straightaway here, only 699 feet. The track length, just shy of 7/10 of a mile. And look at that stat on the bottom. 18 of these tracks would fit inside the big track. For a little insight of what to expect tonight, let's go upstairs to the guys who will call the race. Marty Reed, Rusty Wallace, and Randy LaJoy.
Thank you, Michael. And let's talk a little bit about two diametrically opposed things. We've got youth being served at the front of this field. The first 2 rows, average age 21 years of age, and the top 6 have never won a nationwide race.
There's 4 rookies in the top 10. And one of them starting on the pole. Is this going to be exciting? We got 4 of the best drivers in the country starting in the back, coming to the front. You better hang on, guys. This is going to be very exciting.
And let's talk also about the fact that we are going to have opportunities here for those guys to shine tonight.
Marty, you hit the nail on the head. Tonight's a big opportunity race. You talked earlier, we got the top 3 guys under 21 years old. This is their chance to shine. I'll guarantee you that all the car owners and drivers and sponsors that over to Big Track, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, are watching this telecast tonight, pulling for these young guys, seeing what's going to happen. And these young guys, this is their chance to make it happen. They want to get their victory tonight. At least they want to run good, so it's going to be exciting for all these guys.
And let's talk about the double file restarts.
Well, you know, we heard Brad Coleman say, you know, he's glad that the 99 picked the outside. Because sure enough, the inside line guys, they're going to have more donuts on these race cars tonight. Guys are going to wear up all these guys' tires. Not only theirs, they're going to use the guys on the outside and the guys 3 wide.
This is the first time I've seen double file restarts at this particular style racetrack, Marty, and this is going to lead to be one of the most exciting races probably I've seen on short tracks. I mean, this is going to be an exciting race because it puts the cream of the crop in the front every single restart, and this could lead to some real exciting racing and crashes.
Well, one of the things we've always noticed here is wheel spin. If you've got it, it is poison on a restart. In fact, Tim Brewer in the Craftsman Tech Garage recorded this for us just a little bit earlier.
Here at ORP, you really have to stay on your game as far as on these restarts. When you've got brand new sticker tires, they've got low air pressure, they're cold, you don't have a lot of grip. So you actually have to manipulate the throttle to keep from blowing the tires off the rear of the car. Another thing, you see this debris right here? It's all over the high side of the racetrack. When the tires are hot, it actually sticks to the surface of the tire. That's the reason you see the guys, before the green flag, they'll be swaying the car back and forth to clean the tires off, wrapping the throttle, meaning spinning the rear tires, because it's very important to get good restarts here at ORP.
Thank you, Tim. Still ahead, talk about domination. Kyle Busch has already won 6 races and hasn't finished worse than second since June. Can he be stopped tonight? One guy who could present a challenge, well, it's Carl Edwards, just 1 win so far this year. He'll join us to discuss his outlook. And as Jason Leffler proved in 2007, this is truly an opportunity race. Hear how he assesses his chances of pulling off the upset again.
NASCAR Countdown, brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Next week, play Driver Pick'em, presented by Nationwide Insurance on ESPN.com for a shot at $25,000.
Man, I wish I could get through the Indianapolis traffic that quick, getting between these 2 racetracks. That hasn't been the case. In some ways, this is still very much the Busch Series. Kyle Busch added to his series-leading 6 wins a week ago with a victory. After leading 90 laps at Gateway, he's now finished no worse than second in 7 straight races. And, of course, he's a favorite once again tonight. He's won here at O'Reilly Raceway Park twice, including a dominating performance last year where he led nearly every lap. It would be a shocker if he was not a factor once again here tonight. He's standing by with Shannon Spake.
That's right, Mike. We all experienced some woes from the rain today. Kyle Busch, you were not able to complete the entire practice in this race car, and I know that you guys were having some handling problems. Are you concerned about the way that this car is going to handle at the start of the race?
I don't think it'll be that bad. You know, we've had a good setup from here last year. They changed the tire, so makes things different, but the NOS Energy Drink Toyota was decent this morning. You know, it wasn't great, but you know, I said last night I wasn't going to be in contention for a top 10, and you know, he ended up leading the race and then had tire problems or something that we got so tight. So hopefully that doesn't happen here tonight, but you know, solid effort. Will be a solid day here.
Now, speaking of last night, we saw that you were able to make your way through the field last night in the truck race. You're starting in the back here tonight. Do you think you'll be able to do the same in this car?
Well, we did it on 40-lap fresher tires. You know, those guys, we ran 40 laps on the green flag, and then we came in, put tires on, worked our way through there all the way up to second before the caution at that lap 92 or 3 or whatever it was. And we came in with the leaders there, and we should have been able to go the rest of the way, but unfortunately we burned the fronts off it. So here tonight it's going to be a different story. You know, we got to stay on a good strategy where hopefully we can save those tires for the end. But if you do that, then who's to say that there isn't going to be cautions at the end of the race that you know, you're not allowed to get back through traffic that way. All
right, it's always an exciting night when Kyle Busch starts in the front, guys. Mike?
And thank you, Shannon. With his dominance of late, Kyle has stretched his championship lead and now has an advantage of 212 points over Carl Edwards. Brad Keselowski is the only other driver within 400 points of Busch. Joey Logano has missed 4 races this year, but he's still 5th in standings. Meanwhile, Justin Allgaier is the top rookie, 7th in the standings. And while Kyle Busch does have a commanding championship lead, it appears he is far from satisfied. I asked him recently about his current streak of top 2 finishes, and, well, he expressed a lot of disappointment with not having won every one of those races. You talk about a winning is everything attitude. Not only has he pounded the competition lately, he's done it with a ton of emotion.
This is what we do. We come here to finish second.
Every time I come to the racetrack.
Wasn't no battle. He drove right by me.
Go, rock! We got it, guys. Good job. You guys are awesome. Hey, Chubby, let's go!
And the man that owns the cars that Kyle Busch drives, of course, is Joe Gibbs, the Super Bowl champion from the Washington Redskins, Cup champion as well. And now you're championing a book that you got 11 chapters, a game plan for life, and it's the story of success, a personal playbook for success. How did all this come about, Coach?
Well, it came about, we actually had a research firm go out in America and say, what are all the different topics that America says they need to have victory in to lead a modern-day successful life? It came back 11 topics. We then took 11 scholars. You wouldn't want the physical education major writing on that. We took 11 scholars, matched them with the 11 topics. They each wrote one chapter. My part in the book is to weave my life story through there and tell people when I veered away from God's principles, the game plan for life, I met real adversity. I tell everybody, read the book, I'll save you 10 years of misery.
Coach, you know, you have been very forward, like Tony Dungy, about your Christian walk and what it has done for you and your family. But I've always wondered, when we see guys like the way you handled Tony Stewart, when we see the way, the challenges you must have to face with a Kyle Busch, how do you square all that?
Well, I think everybody, you know, we're very different, all of us. Human nature says what? We're different. And certainly when you deal with athletes, you got all ranges of personalities. The thing I've always loved, though, guys like Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, bright guys, highly competitive. Yes, they wear their emotions right on their sleeves. But also behind that, I see them do a lot of things. All the things Tony does for charity, but in particular, Kyle Busch also. We went to spend one whole night at NASCAR theme park. He bought the place out for a youth home. And you see all those kinds of things. I wished everybody could see that, you know, about both guys.
Let's talk for a moment, though, because you've tasted success both in Cup racing and in NASCAR and in the NFL. Which has been more satisfying for Joe Gibbs?
I think my wife probably says it best when it comes to either winning a Super Bowl or winning a championship over here. She says it's like having babies. They're all the same and they're all great. I couldn't separate them. It's two of the greatest experiences anyone could have. This took us on the motorsport side 9 years to get a championship. And but in any case, both of them really, I've just been thrilled to be a part of them. I loved it. They're great sports. I think our best years in motorsports and NASCAR in particular, our best years are still in front of us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Mike?
And thank you, Jack. Of course, over the last year and a half or so, Joe Gibbs Racing has been the gold standard in this series, winning a total of 28 races during that span. Few teams have been able to measure up. However, last week at Gateway, it appeared that KHI may have closed the gap. Now, Kevin Harvick started 6th, but was able to lead a race-high 105 laps. Perhaps more impressive was his ability to run door-to-door with Kyle Busch. Ultimately, though, the results would not reflect the performance. A late race fuel miscalculation relegated Harvick to a 17th place finish. And joining me now is the guy who will drive the 33 car tonight. Of course, that's Ron Hornaday. He comes in with a ton of confidence, I would imagine. He's won the last 4 Truck Series races, including here at ORP last night. Now, we saw that car last week at Gateway. Tremendous performance. How good is it this week?
Well, it's the car that Kevin won Bristol with, so I got to run in Milwaukee and qualifying. We fixed the brakes on the thing and about locked them up. So it's actually a real good car, and I got to thank Vlasic Pickles and Kroger and everybody was supporting this Monte Carlo. So we'll go out there and see. We just don't want to hurt anybody out there, but we're going to, in their points deal. But I figure Kevin's in the points chase right there for owners. We're going to go out there and give it the best we can.
A good car and certainly a good driver. Ron Hornaday has victories here in the Truck Series and Nationwide Series. Now Shannon Spake standing by with another contender.
That's right, and it was a pretty good qualifying effort for Stephen Wallace, third. I know it's been a couple weeks since Trip Bruce has come over as crew chief. Do you think you guys have turned a corner, especially with this qualifying run?
I think we turned a little bit of a corner, yeah. We've been running pretty good the past couple of weeks with our US Fidelis car. Earlier there in practice, we kind of got off on our setup a little bit. We changed 2 front springs and didn't get to scale our car, so our measurements and stuff were kind of wrong. So we struggled a little bit there in practice, but we changed everything back to where it should be, and we qualified third. I feel like we got a pretty good car. We'll see, but I don't really know exactly how it's going to drive in race trim, but there in practice it seemed to be all right. So we'll see. Hopefully get this US Fidelis Chevrolet a good run tonight, and heck, you never know, you might win, so we'll see.
This is another one of the young guns who are starting up front. Stephen Wallace rolls off third.
And thank you, Shannon. O'Reilly Raceway Park is a special place for Jason Keller. His first career win came here in 1995. That was the first of 2 Indianapolis wins for Keller. Tonight he's looking to get back to victory lane for the first time since 2003. And Jason Keller getting ready right now on the grid, and there he is as we get set for tonight. He's certainly hungry for a win, but when Brad Doherty caught up with him at Darlington earlier this year, he was hungry for something else.
Don't tell anyone, but you really can't mess this dish up.
Oh man, that's perfect.
If you halfway know when to put stuff in, it kind of cooks itself.
Well, how did you get started cooking?
Actually, my dad is a good cook.
Oh, really?
Extremely good cook.
Do you cook for these guys a lot?
We're together so much that it's nice when you get a little quiet time at the track just to hang out.
All right, Jason. Tell us exactly what's in this Low Country Bull.
Well, I can tell you most everything. A great cook never tells everything.
That's true. So I guess cholesterol is not an issue.
We're not worried about that.
All right,
that's not an issue.
We got a minute or two while the Low Country Bull gets up to speed, so we're going to talk about racing. The longevity you've had in this sport has been just unparalleled.
Well, it's really a testimony to the people that I've had around me.
Yeah.
I would have been here today going tomorrow.
Has the urge never been there, the itch never been there to really position yourself to get into a Cup car?
I've never viewed it as a stepping stone. Now I laugh and say Rick Hendricks never caught either.
How long can you do it?
Mark Martin has made age cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, you give me a 10-year deal right now to race the Nationwide Series, sign me up. A month ago, I would have told you that I want to get consistently in the top 10.
Yeah.
That's where we are now.
Yeah.
You let the stars line up and we can win a race.
We were talking a little bit about history earlier, and some of your history in racing and going over the past. We got a couple things here we want to look at. I ain't gonna say nothing about that mustache you rocking right there, but
that's it. That was my stash there. So we.
Now what's this? This is a Busch car, obviously.
This was a car that I bought from actually Dale Earnhardt Sr. Didn't run that fast, but it was a cool car. This was actually before myself and Deb got married, and man, if you look, even back then, I don't see why she married me.
You definitely married up.
Way up,
no doubt
way
about
up.
it.
Don't touch it. You got on to me a little bit about my mustache now, and I was a little bit, I didn't really know how to take that, but now we're gonna talk about it here now. Here we go, right here. What we got right here?
Man.
Huh?
That had the cheese stash going too, didn't it, man? I didn't know any better,
Well, see, I didn't either, I thought it was cool,
All right, count down to the throwdown.
All right, here we go. That's got a little kick to it.
Oh, I like that.
All right, here we go.
Put a little hair on your chest.
Put a little hair on your upper lip?
Yeah.
There you got it, there you got it. All right, here we go now.
Oh, man.
Brad Doherty loves to eat. Hey, Jason Keller has certainly gotten a good taste of this track as well. Today he'll pass Tommy Houston for the most ORP starts with 16. So far his average finish is 9.9 with a couple of victories. Still plenty to come here on Countdown as the energy starts to build. There's a look at Mike Bliss. He's spent a lot of time at this racetrack, going all the way back to his USAC days. And Brad Keselowski trying to pull himself up in the championship hunt as well. Getting ready, and Michael Annett looking to make a name for himself. He'll roll off 20th. Still plenty to come here on Countdown. Straight ahead. Coming up on the ESPN family of networks, NASCAR Now on ESPN2, presented by 5 Hour Energy, tomorrow 10 a.m. Eastern. Then tomorrow night, or really Monday morning, NASCAR Now has a complete Brickyard recap at 12:30 a.m. Then Monday night, it's NASCAR Now's Roundtable at 5 p.m., presented by Home Depot. Tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern, well, that's the big moment. ESPN kicks off its Sprint Cup Series coverage with the Brickyard 400, presented by Golden Corral. Then later that night at 9:30 p.m. on ESPN2, it's the NHRA Fram Auto Light Finals. And next Saturday, it's the Nationwide Series at Iowa, presented by GoDaddy.com, 4 Eastern on ESPN. And one of the guys who is expected to be quite a bit of the story on Sunday as well as tonight is certainly Carl Edwards. He stands by, but because of the conflicting schedules between the two tracks, you miss qualifying. You'll start, wow, way back here. Yeah. What's the plan to get to the front tonight?
Well, the plan is, hopefully to just keep working on this vitamin water Ford Fusion and make it as fast as we know it can be. I mean, last year we were extremely fast, had a little bit of trouble, and I think went 4 or 5 laps down and got back on the lead lap throughout the race. So to me, ORP is one of the most exciting tracks we go to. It's really fun to drive. And, if I had to start in the back anywhere, this is where it'd be. I've been looking forward to this race all day.
And Carl Edwards has proven over time he knows what it takes to get a car to the front without taking too many chances. Shannon?
In 2007, it was an exciting race to the finish between Jason Leffler and Greg Biffle, but when the checkers dropped, it was Leffler who found himself in front, earning Toyota its first win in the Nationwide Series and Leffler's 7th overall win here at this track. Now I'm down here with Jason Leffler. Last season, you concentrated on both races, IMS and over here. This year, it's all about O'Reilly Raceway Park. What do you feel you need to accomplish tonight to win this race?
Well, if we had the car we didn't practice, we'll have a shot at winning it. Start 14th. We went out first, which is never good, and we slid around there qualifying. But getting to the front without tearing the fenders up, knocking the grill in and stuff, and just being aggressively patient here at the beginning. And we can do that. We have great stops every week, so no problems there, and I think we can get to the front.
Aggressively patient. Well, Jason Leffler is also our in-race reporter tonight, so if you want to ask him a question, you go to ESPN.com, search Ask the Driver, and then stay tuned to see if your question is answered.
And some news and notes from around the sport. On Tuesday, NASCAR and team owners will meet to discuss how the new nationwide car of tomorrow will be phased in. And Denny Hamlin will drive the number 11 car for CGM Motorsports at Watkins Glen and Michigan next month. Scott Lagasse will be out of the car following Iowa. And Jeremy Mayfield is back under suspension as NASCAR won its appeal to have Mayfield's injunction removed. And the excitement's starting to build, and there's guys jumping out of the sky. They're so excited to be here, trying to find a way into the O'Reilly Raceway Park. That wraps up Countdown. When we come back, we'll get you ready for Green Flag Racing.
And as we look down from high above, that is O'Reilly Raceway Park, as we have perfect weather conditions after a morning full of rain, 78 degrees, and it's time to go trackside for opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise, remove your hats. Tonight, offering our invocation is Mark Wright, the pastor of Hazeldale Christian Church in Carmel, and singing the national anthem will be Jackie D'Amicio.
Let's pray. Lord, thank you for this awesome night at the Kroger 200, and thank you for this freedom that we celebrate. We've been reminded regularly that wars are still going on around this world, so please protect our servicemen and women and bless this great land of ours. Tonight, Father, protect each of these drivers and their crews and calm their loved ones as they race hard around this track. Lord, your word tells us to make a joyful noise unto the Lord. May the sound of these engines, the trading of paint, and the roar of this great crowd be a joyful noise unto you. And finally, Lord, let these good old boys get it on. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You may have noticed that the flags are at half staff here. Former Indiana Supreme Court Justice Richard Gibbs died earlier this week. That's the reason, as they're honoring him. We'll be back with the start of the race. Stay with us.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at O'Reilly Raceway Park is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR, and Verizon Wireless. Get the inside track from Penske Racing, race analysis from our drivers, plus highlights and more on VCast.
Well, as we look down from high above here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, let's talk about and give Randy LaJoie a salute, because he may have another record snapped tonight. He's the only two-time pole sitter in the 28 years we've run this race. And if Kyle Busch leads 73 laps, you're going to lose the #1 lap leader. He's crying over here to my left, folks. It's really a sad sight, but we'll give him some slack. And we're just about ready to get started and fire these engines as the guys are just about getting into the car. In fact, there is Eric Darnell, as he's going to be looking for a win here as he's starting 4th tonight, one of the young guns that's up front. We already mentioned in news and notes how Scott Lagasse is out of this ride after next week at Iowa, so he's looking to impress. Did very well in qualifying with a 6th starting position. And of course, Brad Keselowski, as he is going to have the #1 pit position based on qualifying from a week ago. Remember, we talked about how that was affecting everything as well. And it is a big, big break for him. It could play a key role tonight. Now, as we come back topside, let's talk a little bit more about the double file restarts, because this is so critical tonight.
Marty, you hit the nail on the head. The double file restarts could be one of the biggest things we've seen in tonight's race. It's really going to take the cream of the crop and jam them all together. And these guys are going to have to be very, very careful on this start of this race, because I know they're going to drive aggressive. It's going to keep them bunched up real tight. But one thing for sure, it's going to be great for the fans.
Well, and there's also another change because of this. Let's go back to last year's race. Carl Edwards got 3 laps down early because of an oil line problem. Well, here was how he drove his way back to the front. Because of the single file restart, he was up alongside Kyle. After a yellow, he got around him once. Then he did it again, and then he got the Aaron's lucky dog. He ended up finishing 11th. Randy LaJoie, can we see that tonight?
Well, it's going to be very difficult. If you have trouble at the beginning of this race, it'll be very difficult for you to get all 3 of your laps back, or as many as you can, because of the double file restart. The double file restart is just a great idea, adds a lot of excitement for the fans. But if you get in trouble early in the race, it makes it very difficult to get a lap back. They have that wave around, which is okay, but boy, it's still going to be very difficult to make laps.
Yeah, the wave around, obviously, you have to stay out. You cannot come in and pit. So if you get the wave around, now you're off sequence. So it's a double-edged sword.
Oh, it really is. And one exciting thing we're going to see tonight also, Trevor Bayne has decided to start on the outside of this race versus the traditional pole position on the inside. They feel the outside of the track is faster. There's more banking up there. He's going to go for it. I don't know if that's the right decision or not early.
What do you think?
Well, you know, I was on the pole here twice, like you said. And I'm not crying because of the lap leader, but it's okay. Kyle Busch is taking a lot of laps. But you know what? The middle of the groove right now is still pretty clean. The outside is a little slippery. We seen last night the guy do it and never let a lap.
All right, let's go trackside to start the show for tonight.
With the most famous words in motorsports, with the Indiana pacer, Mr. Dante Jones.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Engines have fired on the 43 cars that qualified. There's our in-race reporter, Jason Leffler. If you want to talk to him, ESPN.com, search Ask the Driver. We'll talk to him when we come back. That'll work. In case you weren't with us a little bit earlier for qualifying, this is 18-year-old Trevor Bayne becoming the third youngest pole winner in Nationwide Series history behind Casey Atwood and Joey Logano. And he has decided to start from the outside as we head into turn number 1. Take a look at the starting grid and you will notice one big thing. A lot of youth up front and experience in the rear. And 20 of the 27 races here have been won from a top 10 starting position, including the last 7. So our 4 double-duty drivers are going to have a lot of work to take care of. Let's dial up our in-race reporter, Jason Leffler. It's all yours, Rusty.
Fella doing his wheel up here. Clear up. 1 lane. There you go. Perfect now.
Hey, Jason Leffler, Rusty Wallace, ESPN. You got us?
Loud and clear, Rusty. How's it going up there?
Buddy, we're doing pretty good. Hey, Jason, you won this race in 2007. Buddy, this has got to be one of your favorite racetracks. You feel pretty good about the night?
I do. I feel great. I'll feel better when we get up here in the top 5 or so. But the cars handled great practice. Look forward to it. I feel good going every week going to the races now. I mean, the guys have been giving me great cars, great clips. Camry has been fast everywhere we go, so hopefully everything will go our way tonight and we can win one.
All right, Jason, we got an ESPN mailbag question, and it comes from Trevor in Albany, New York. And the question is, with these one-day events, how do you stay focused all day long so you're sharp when it comes to race time?
That's a good question, Trevor. Actually, these one-day events are better at staying focused because you just never slow down. You're just constantly on the move and not a whole lot of sitting around, especially today with the rain delay and all that. So, yeah, I'm ready to go. Reminds me of the old Saturday night race. It's awesome.
All right, buddy, go get him. Now, Randy LaJoie is going to speak to your crew chief, Scott Zipadelli.
Scott Zipadelli, Randy LaJoie up in the ESPN booth. You know how much winning a race is important. We see how much tires are important. Do you have a lap that you can say, with 20 to go, I'm going to pit because it makes that much difference?
We just picked it. 20 to go. We're going to probably put 4 tires on. I think they proved it last night in the truck race that 4 tires is big. I think 20 is probably the cutoff, but 30 laps to go. If we're in the top 10, we're putting 4 on.
Does that make a big difference with the double file restart? Is that part of your strategy?
No, I think a double file restart, in a place like this, you need tires anyways. Those guys last night that did put tires on really got beat bad, so my focus is if we're going to get a shot to put tires on, we're going for the win, and I think 4 tires is going to do it.
Okay, thanks, Zippy. Good luck tonight.
All right, let's take a look at our other onboards. We've got a total of 8 besides Jason Leffler, and we have our pole sitter, Trevor Bayne, with an onboard camera in that lower right-hand side. And our over-the-wall reporter will be the rear tire carrier for the 38 car, Richard Puddin-Coleman from Orlando, Florida. One of these days, I got to ask him how he got that nickname. All right, let's talk about pit picks, Rusty.
Oh, I tell you, the number 1 pit position, right there you're looking at, Brad Keselowski's got that. And that was based off of qualifying last week at Gateway. Wherever you qualified there, that's where you're going to get the pick. He decided number 1. The number 2 selection right here, the Dollar General car, I like that one pretty good because Reed Sorensen qualified 2nd. That's good for Rudiman. The one that I do not like, though, is down there in this turn. This particular turn, a lot of good cars picked down there. I don't like that because as you come around a corner and you pull out, you could get your fenders knocked off, and that's not a good pit. There was other choices. I do not know why those guys picked down there.
All right, let's take a look at the race analysis. One of the things you're going to notice is pit lane speed. It is 35 miles an hour. They look like there's snails crawling down there, and they have to do it because, of Rusty just pointed out, you're blind through that corner, and it is very, very treacherous. You notice the pit window? You can do this in one stop, but as you heard Zip say, it's going to come down to tires.
And Marty, we've heard this. This is a very short pit stall that you have.
All right, pace car has pulled off into turn number 3. Trevor Bayne is on the outside as he chose to go to the high side. That's what they did last night in the truck race. Right alongside is Brad Coleman, and you heard from Jack Root, he was kind of smiling up in that one. So we're going to find out as he comes down through the front straightaway. 20th race in the Nationwide Series is green. And the 20 has hit the wall. Coleman tangles with Trevor Bayne, and he's got damage.
Oh, man, you see Coleman sail it down in there, just lost the car, got up in the wall. A lot of damage on this car right now, but the rear spoiler is still intact. This thing is definitely not out of the race yet. It looks like they're going to need a caution to get this thing fixed.
We've heard him say at the start of this race he didn't want to do that. He went in there, didn't have a lot of grip, and he done almost spun out.
Trevor Bayne leads Stephen Wallace. Terry Cook is in third right now. Scott Lagacy is in fourth.
Guys, these guys are just going to have to get sorted out a little bit now. Let these real low air pressures they got in the cars build up before these cars really get hooked up and get going again.
Let's go back and take a look at the start again, guys.
Well, you take a look at him. Oh, he gets underneath. Trevor Bayne gets him beside him, gets loose. And that's what happens when you sail that thing on the bottom side of the track. He's paying for it now.
That's right. Trevor didn't give him a whole lot of room, and he got into the side of him and almost wrecked his race car totally at the first lap of the race.
He goes from second back to 13th as a result.
Now, as this race gets going on, we talk all the time about the top side of this racetrack being the fast way around. It's banked more up top. A little less banking on the bottom of the track, which makes side-by-side racing over here at O'Reilly Raceway Park.
Young 18-year-old Trevor Bayne doing a fine job right now as he has got an 0.8 of a second lead over Stephen Wallace. Let's move back just a little bit farther in the field, check in, and take a look at the 60 car. Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch in the 18 right behind him. They've each picked up 10 spots already, and we've got a caution out. Our first of the night, we've got debris up in turn number 2. So as everybody slows it on down, Trevor Bayne will get another chance, and this time it'll be on a restart. And we already mentioned the fact that some of these guys have really jumped up. David Rudiman has picked up a total of 15 spots, and so is Carl Edwards right now, as we'll step aside for one quick break. Be back to go green here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. And as we welcome you back to the Kroger 200, the only stop on 28 years now, the same title sponsor, Kroger grocery chain here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. And they had a second pit stop on the 20 car as Brad Coleman has some Band-Aids on the right rear quarter.
And you see him sail down to the turn 1 right now. Take a look at the back of the 20 car. Just goes up the track, gets loose, and then in the wall, and that's what really killed him, that part right there.
You seen Rusty on the white line, you know, the 20 car did go up the racetrack and almost get into the 99.
Speaking of the 99, he has chosen the high side again on the outside. Shannon, you've got an update on the 20.
Well, right now, Dave Rogers telling Brad Coleman to just relax. Kyle Busch started in the back of the field, telling his driver to calm down. They did bring that car down. The major fix on that car was the spoiler. They took out some hammers. They slammed it down. They definitely feel like they've been able to fix it. They also made some chassis adjustments, wedge and a track bar for the loose conditions. Guys,
let's update you. It is David Rudiman in 24th, Edwards 25th, Kyle Busch 26th, Matt Kenseth 29th, and we're back to green flag racing here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. High sides working for Trevor Bayne.
You got to take a look at what just happened a little while ago.
Ron Hornaday was looking 3 wide in first and second turn right there.
Hornaday in the 33.
Steve Wallace clears outside, gets behind Bayne right now. He got trapped on the bottom on that restart, and everybody knows they want to get to the top of this racetrack to set sail on this field.
Scott Lagacy is now running in third. We can report that Mark Green has pulled it behind the wall, so he's our first starting partner for the night. Made it to lap 9. Also, Curtis Davis has gone behind the wall.
The 33 car there, Ron Hornaday. Hornaday won the truck race last night. Feels really good about this ride that Kevin Harvick's gave him. Feels like he's got a lot of experience, could get this 33 in victory lane based on how Kevin ran last week at Gateway.
See the 38 right on the right side of that screen. He's trying to work his way a little bit further forward in the field. There he is. He's got the 62 of Brendan Gaughan, Jason Leffler, and they touch.
You heard him earlier. You said we got to keep the fenders on these cars, or you better keep them straight.
When you see the guys just go to the bottom of the racetrack, that's generally the fastest way around when you got the same banking angle all the way up. These guys, it's a lot flatter on the bottom, a little slower, but still they go for it, trying to make a pass down there, guys.
Johnny Chapman in the 90, Terry Cook in the 91. They are out of the race. That updates you there as you're on board with Jason Leffler.
See, Brenda gone on the bottom of the racetrack there. Take a look at the smoke on the left front fender of the 6 car of Eric Darnell. Looks like he's got a little damage, guys.
It won't be the last bit of damage these guys have tonight. This is short track racing at its roughest. All right, while we're watching all this action going on up front, coming down through the stretch, some of our double duty guys. David Rudiman in the 32 right there in the Dollar General car, and Carl Edwards right behind him. They are up to 17 and 19. Jack, what's going on with the 32?
You got to remember, David Rudiman did not turn a wheel in this car during practice. He got in, he told me just before the race, he said, I'm not sure what I've got. Well, he now knows the car is just a bit free in the middle of the corner. As the sun goes down, Rudiman hopes that freeness will tighten the car up just a little bit. He likes his racer right now. Shannon?
Jack, right now, Kyle Busch making his way through the field. He's already up to 20th. He's saying that the car is still tight. Now, this is a condition that they battled in practice earlier today, but the team is not that concerned. This is the same way this 18 car started in this race last year. They made one pit stop the entire race last season, and of course, you saw how dominant they are. It's all about track position, and that's what Kyle Busch is looking for right now.
And while all this is going on, we'll update you. Kelly Byers has taken the 47 behind the wall as well, and so has Chad Blunt just pulled behind.
Tell you what, Kyle Busch is making his way through that field. There's no doubt about that. But the farther he gets up there, the harder it's going to get.
Yeah, that's right. These guys up in front of him, they're not going to give the spots as easy as the guys behind him, that's for sure.
Scott Wimmer in the number 5 Fastenal trying to get underneath the tire smoking number 6 of Eric Darnell. That is a battle for position, 8th and 9th on the track.
Tell you what, that tire smoke on that 6 car of Eric Darnell, I don't know how much longer that's going to last. Although these guys have got really low air pressures, about 8 pounds of air in the left side tires. And as the pressure builds up, this might go away. And he hopes it will until it blows out.
Rusty,
I mean, tight right now, guys.
When you're driving that car, unless you could smell it, you don't know it's smoking. And the crew chief sure is not going to tell you it's smoking, because mentally that just will wear you out.
Well, he's not going to pull off the racetrack right now because of the crew chief's going to hope it goes away. But I'll tell you what, watching it makes me real nervous because I've seen so many left front tires blow out of late, and these guys have really got to keep an eye on it. But if he keeps smoking like that, Marty, I don't know how much longer that thing's going to last.
So far, so good. But as you said, they're going to have to keep an eye on it as the race lead right now is tightening up. Stephen Wallace is actually faster than the race leader. He has closed the gap. Trevor Bayne's lead is 0.2 of a second. Scott Lagacy is 2 seconds back in third. That's what it looks like between first and second as we have completed 20 laps of 200 here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Back here to O'Reilly Raceway Park, the only car to come in was Eric Darnell. Remember, he had that tire rub, and you could see the skid marks going into turn number 1. Scott Lagacy was running third. The one car of Mike Bliss was 5th. Let's see what happened.
Oh, he just gets hit in the back by Brad Keselowski and head on the wall. Guys, I got to tell you, that was not Scott Legacy's fault, and we're feeling for this guy right now. He's driving under pressure. He's getting pulled out of this car. This was not his fault tonight. Let's take a look at this one more time. Keselowski gets down the corner. Ooh, right in the left rear quarter panel, into the wall.
And then you can see out the back, Bliss has nowhere to go as he slides up over him. Here's Bliss.
Okay, you can hear him. He lifts, he sees the guy's contact, he's turning the wheel, and you just can't. You slide the front of the tires, you got the thing slowing down. Here we go, he's a little bit mad at Mr. Keselowski.
He's holding up his arm saying, why?
And he didn't say, go daddy.
Well, he's got a right to be mad, guys.
Absolutely, he got run over.
Well, I mean, they had a big problem last week in Gateway, then another one tonight. Now he's getting pulled out of the car. Enough's enough.
And that's one thing, when the drivers are running up front, you never think you can get crashed.
You saw Bliss behind the wall, and Lagacy is out of the 11 car after next week's race at Iowa. Hopefully things will go better for him there. Stay with us. Back here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, you're looking at Michael McDowell. He gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. The problem for Michael, though, is he was 3 laps down. He is 2 down right now, but he would get another free pass because he is the only car that's still out on the track that is not on the lead lap. Wow, we've got a moment before we go back to green flag racing. Jack Arute is caught up with Mike Bliss.
And you can see they're working on Mike Bliss on the right front. They've had to change the shock. They're going to have to do a lot of cosmetic damage. Mike, you get collected in an early race crash, and how bad is the damage?
I don't really know. I mean, they're working on it. I don't know what happened to the 11. I don't know. He just all of a sudden turned in the wall, and I went down in there, and I couldn't get slowed down. I was already committed the line I was running, and I couldn't get slowed down, and I kind of locked. I think I locked the fronts up a little bit and just slid into them. But what a terrible day. This Mikasuki #1 was really fast. Chevrolet was good, but oh well.
Guys,
he has more wins here at O'Reilly Raceway Park than anybody else in the field. A total of 12 in sprints, midgets, and silver crowns. And it's not looking good for tonight. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Again, Trevor Bayne, the race leader, has decided to take the high side, the outside lane, right alongside Stephen Wallace.
Stephen was quicker the last couple laps under green. Look on the bottom. Guys going 3 wide.
Saw Trevor's car bottom out a little bit. Sparks flew off from under that thing. And
whoa,
look at this.
Keselowski, the 88, gets a little tap from the 33 of Ron Hornaday. And he comes right back and says, not going to settle for that.
Brad's pretty excited tonight. He got in the back at 11 a little bit, got it back in the 33 car. Hornaday a little bit. Hey, but you know what? Short track racing, it's going to happen all night long, guys.
Well, not only can you impress owners here, you can also turn the guys off. You know, when you get too aggressive on a racetrack like that, a lot of these owners don't like their stuff tore up.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stephen Wallace taking a look underneath the race leader, but can't get it done. We saw this a lot last night in the truck race. You can get underneath to a degree on that low line, but you just can't seem to finish a deal.
And boy, it is so tempting to pull that nose down and try to make a pass. And if you're going to do it, I think you're going to have to do it while the tires are good or deep in the run when another guy just starts wearing out.
Once he figures this out, Rusty, I mean, the more he runs the bottom, the more rubber's going to build up, and the bottom's going to get a lot more grip as the night goes on. He'll be able to compete that class here in about 5 laps, I do believe.
While all this is going on, Jack Arute is caught up with Scott Lagasse.
And let's cut right to the chase. Scott, what happened?
I don't know. I mean, it was riding early in the race. I'm not sure. I hate it for these guys. I mean, they've known for a couple weeks that Denny was getting in the car, but you know, it says a lot about them. They've worked really hard. Paul and the guys made some changes here in the last couple weeks, and we really found our speed back. So frustrating, you know, but just go on.
You climbed out of the car and you were walking up the racetrack. What was going through your mind at that moment?
I can't tell you that on TV, sir. Sorry.
Guys?
All right, we got a caution as we got a crash up in the, and it's Michael Annett.
Well, guys, you know, you heard that, and he didn't know what happened. He got run over.
Whoa,
oh, Trevor Bayne.
Trevor Bayne and the race leader. What happened here? All of a sudden, he gets spun around. It affects also Stephen Wallace. We're looking up at the crash damage, and all of a sudden, first and second place.
I got a feeling that they slowed down so quick because of the caution. It looks like Stephen might have got underneath him. Let's take a look at this in the replay here.
That goes back to one spotter saying, okay, caution in 3, and the other spotter not saying nothing.
Now, this was after the caution had come out. That's why you see them both heading back to their original positions.
Well, it's going to be interesting here, guys, because you have to maintain a certain speed under caution.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for NASCAR. Let's take a look, see what happened here. There goes Annett.
Yeah, Annett just gets loose and gets in a wall right there, and that's all by himself right there, just gets loose.
And one spotter saying, okay, caution, turn 3.
So now the caution's out. See the caution waving on the right-hand side. Stephen Wallace right behind him. Oh, that's what happened. They just checked up because the caution car tries to pull out in front of the field right
yes,
there.
Yes, he did. Caution car come out a little early there.
Unbelievable, way too early.
They were both on the brakes. As you see the caution car jumping out.
Oh, yeah, Trevor Bayne sees it.
Because he knows you can't pass the caution car.
So Trevor gets on the brakes, and Stephen goes right up underneath him. So we've got David Ruderman now cracking into the top 10. This is, all these yellows are helping all of our double-duty drivers. We'll explain why when we come back here to O'Reilly Raceway Park. Well, we've only completed 38 laps, and boy, has it been an eventful race so far. Michael Annett, that's Scott Lagacy, and Mike Bliss getting airborne as well. Lagacy looks at Brad Keselowski and says, why? Please tell me why. Michael Annett was running 17th at the time that he brought out our third caution. And then we saw what happened when the pace car all of a sudden jumps out onto the track. Our race leader, Trevor Bayne, slowed quickly. And second place was not able to get there, as we'll take another look at it, as Stephen Wallace went right up underneath him.
We can take a look. This caution flag flies. They're both slowing down, but the pace car pulls out. Trevor gets on the brakes real hard. They just can't slow down.
Steven's right behind him, and he's not even in the gas. The 99 car slowed up and got him spun out.
Shannon, what are you hearing down there?
Well, down here with Trip Bruce, who is pacing back and forth, what's the damage on the 66?
You know, I watched the replay, and I saw, all I've seen is the pace car came out, and it really collected the leaders, backed them up right there, and Steven got involved in it. But U.S. Fidelis Chevrolet has been really fast and trying to keep everything cool in here in the pits. We can get a pit stop going here and get back up front. Okay.
All right, good luck to you guys.
Guys, meanwhile, Trevor Bayne is sitting and having the debate with his crew chief as to what happened. And here is his version. He said, I saw the pace car. He said, I got on the brakes and checked up because the pace car was already out on the racetrack. He says, Steven didn't see it. He got into the backside of me. And now all of a sudden, they want to try and move him back. They said, well, we'll argue as best we can. And if he stays in the position that he's in, it's not going to be the case. They have moved him back behind the, further back, I think it's behind the 18 or so, and he's not at all happy about this situation. He's right now, he has found his way behind Carl Edwards. This youngster is pretty upset about the turn of events, not of his making.
Yeah, that's got Stephen Wallace in 7th and Trevor Bayne in 11th. Now, the lucky dog goes to the 81 again. Remember, he's the only car out on the track that is not on the lead lap, so Michael McDowell now is only 1 lap down. Now, let's get back to this story at hand, because we saw this happen last year at Montreal, where if you did not maintain pace, you lost your position. But these guys are arguing, saying, wait a minute, you know, the pace car came out moments notice. Why should they be penalized for that? So that's the argument they're fighting.
Yeah, it's a tough one. This is definitely a call. NASCAR probably thinks they did it right. The competitors probably thought it was a little too aggressive to get that pace car out there that quick. And I will tell you, Trevor probably did see it, checked up really quick. Steven got in the back of him. There's no doubt about that. I really think that both of these drivers got a beef, though. I really do.
Well, one of the things, guys, that we're going to see, if they stay where they're at, these guys are going to have to keep their heads on, stay patient. They know they have very fast race cars, and work their way back up to the front.
Let's take another look from high above and watch the pace car at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it's just pace car comes out. It triggers Trevor to slow down. Steven can't get stopped quick enough.
Maybe that pace car was battery powered.
But a good thing about this, neither one of these drivers have much damage at all. I don't think it's going to affect their cars a bit.
Jack, you've got more?
Yeah, Jerry Baxter is playing Dr. Phil right now with his young driver, because his young driver is getting a little upset. And Jerry just, and I'm going to paraphrase, just said, look, not a lot we can do about it. Take our licks, calm down. And Jerry said, I wish I could tell you how I really feel, but I know there's a lot of people up in the stands monitoring our radio, so we'll talk about it afterwards.
And here's the official word from NASCAR. They did not maintain caution pace speed, which is 45 miles an hour. We saw this happen at Montreal last year, and they weren't happy about it then, and these guys aren't happy about it now.
Well, I wouldn't be happy either. This is a situation where the pace car almost could have waited a lap to come back out, because Stephen Wallace was off the gas, and the 99 checked up because he didn't want to pass the pace car.
Guys, while all this was happening, got to tell you, Kyle Busch pitted on lap number 40. He gave up 12th position. He is now back in 25th, so be interesting to see him trying to work his way back to the front. And now Ron Hornaday is your race leader. There's Kyle alongside Justin Allgaier, and Hornaday has picked the outside. The man who won last night's truck race is on point as we go back to green flag racing.
I tell you, these double fault restarts, they really create a lot of excitement. Take a look at Jason Leffler getting alongside Scott Wimmer right there. trying to work the bottom of the track.
Right now, it's Hornaday, Brad Keselowski, Scott Wimmer, Jason Leffler, and Jason Keller has moved up to 5th. Double duty drivers, Rudeman is up to 8th, Edwards is 9th, Kenseth is 10th.
Boy, Hornaday's got so much experience on this racetrack based on that win last night. 200 laps under his belt, and he's got to be feeling comfortable. Mike, that was a big win for him last night.
Yeah, it was, Rusty, that's for sure. You know, I spoke with him this afternoon about that win, and certainly he said a lot of confidence coming into this race. Then I asked about his car condition after practice. He said they were tight center, loose off, and my first impression was, well, that's not very good. And then he just kind of smiled. He said, exactly the same feel I had with the truck. So you got to believe he's feeling pretty good. He said the car's just a little bit tight. Might have got a little bit of fender damage, though, one of the early cautions on that right front fender. Meanwhile, the guy trying to chase him down, well, that's Brad Keselowski. Keselowski came in pretty optimistic as well. One of his favorite cars, a brand new car built at the beginning of this year, has not finished worse than 4th with it all season long. Just says he needs to roll the center a little bit faster, but otherwise pretty pleased.
Take a look. That's the top 5 in your screen, and Stephen Wallace has moved up to 5th from 8th on that restart. But now he just got around for 4th around Jason Leffler. And here comes the 60 of Carl Edwards. He's gotten around Rudeman. Edwards is up to 6th. And we talked about the fact all these cautions help these double-duty drivers because it tightened that field up.
Oh, absolutely. See, Carl Edwards just flying through the field right now, Marty. The double file restarts are helping a lot. And remember, Carl had a really fast car here last year and used all those cautions to get him back in the lead lap. And right now, he is flying through this field. But now he's got up to the cream of the crop. Let's see how he runs. Oh,
Trouble.
caution,
Turn 4. And it is. It looks like Ken Butler has hit the wall. The 23 of Ken Butler. Very familiar paint scheme to the 99, but unfortunately, the metal doesn't match the same shape anymore.
You see his dad in commercials for Aaron's. It's a great family. Both kids are great racers. The Butler boys, good racers. And we'll see what happened to him. He got turned around.
I tell you, this is a decision make right now. Whether you come down to pit 49 laps in the race, but with the cautions, I don't think they will, guys. Take a look at Butler spinning here.
I don't know if he got any help from behind or not, but we saw the tail end of it. He was running 29th at the time of this crash. We have 33 cars on the lead lap, and guess what? Mr. McDowell's going to get the Aaron's lucky dog again, and that's 3 times, 3 in a row. He's back on the lead lap.
That is amazing. Who would have thought that only 49 laps running on this short racetrack that had happened? And he probably never thought he'd lose that many laps right off the bat either. And didn't even think he'd get him back that quick either.
Guys, since the restart, Kyle Busch is up 11 spots. He pitted, he put tires on.
Also, we're waiting to see who else is coming in. Jason Keller has peeled off. So has Trevor Bayne. So we are seeing some of our front-running cars take advantage of this 4th caution.
Tell you what, I just think it's a little too early to pit right now and lose that much track position. Jack.
Trevor Bayne comes in. Now, the car was overheating, so they're going to try and take some tape off the front. He said that it's just too difficult to pass after he lost that lead. They've dropped the air pressure down in the right rear to give him a little bit more bite. But you can see the guys are coming out the right side up by the cowl. He's off and away. Tight quarters here, guys.
Yeah, Justin Allgaier got around him. We also see the 29. That's Stephen Light as they come back out onto the racetrack. The 31 also came in for a pit stop. That was Travis Kittleson. Meanwhile, there goes Mr. McDowell to get back on the lead lap. What a night for him. Stay with us.
Back at O'Reilly Raceway Park, KHI breaking out all the heavy hitters tonight, including car owner Kevin Harvick. He's here actually coaching his driver, Ron Hornaday, who's out front right now. Just told him over the radio, hey, make sure you watch the 88. He's diamonding the corner real hard, trying to get a run on you, trying to get Hornaday a little insight. The green flag racing again.
Boy, and he's leaning on the 33 as they go through turns 1 and 2.
Well, yeah, you know, Ron Hornaday is a master at restarts, and he was waving at the 88 a couple laps ago.
Okay, that's pretty aggressive on the 88's
Look
car.
at 5.
That can flat make you loose.
That's right.
Whoa.
Inside, 3 wide. Come on, 5.
Leffler's trying to get in this mix as well with Scott Wimmer in the 5. You're on board with Stephen Wallace.
And look how much damage is on the right side of the 88 car already. Donut marks all down the side.
4 wide. Look at this.
Whoa! I don't know how Wimmer managed to get into the lead holding that bottom line, but he did.
And
Take
look
a
at
look.
Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth bombs through the front. He's right on the bottom, 3 wide now off of turn 4.
And following was the 60 of Carl Edwards. There's Keselowski in the 88. The 38 is Leffler. That's Carl Edwards in the 60 down low.
Well, I tell you, guys, this is where you got to show extreme patience right now. On these restarts, these guys are going for it.
Patience with a helmet on, you can't. Once you pull that helmet tight, your patience goes out the window.
Little rub there between Edwards and the 38 of Leffler. There is Brendan Gaughan trying to get into the mix. Gaughan has moved up to 7th. And there's Kyle Busch trying to work his way back up. He's cracked the top 10. Action all over this racetrack tonight.
These guys have started back in the 40th, 41st, 2nd, 3rd spots, and they've already up because of the double foul restarts.
And because of the fact we've had 4 cautions. It's allowed them to tighten up every time, and it has brought some great racing to the front of this field.
And the old bottom slide job doesn't hurt either.
Shannon, you've got more on Team Rusty Wallace?
Yeah, the RWI cars, you see them right next to each other, the 66 and the 62. Both of those cars are battling snug conditions, a little bit tight. Stephen Wallace in the 66 said it's very snug when he gets back on throttle. When they do come down for a pit stop, Trip Bruce has said, we're going to give you an air pressure adjustment. We need you to be able to get back on throttle. The guy who can do that will be the guy who wins.
Just a quick update on the 23. Ken Butler ended up 4 laps down. He also got some more bad news. He was too fast entering pit lane, so he's going to have to do a pass-through. Meanwhile, take a look as Stephen Wallace is all over the back bumper of the 38 Great Clips Toyota of Jason Leffler. And here comes Kyle Busch to challenge the 66 as well.
And you see Kyle Busch trying to go to the bottom of the 66, knowing that the 66 went down there. So now he's choosing a top lane, trying around to go on the outside.
The reason we're staying on this, let you know up front, Scott Wimmer has pulled out almost a full second lead. So this is the best battle on the track. And look at Kyle and Leffler and Steven keep moving and dicing to try and make that position work. And Leffler's hanging on to the spot right now.
Now, you think there's patience between any of those guys?
Well, there's not patience right now, but Randy, they're going to have to exercise it. I really think so.
Hopefully they can spell it. You know,
It's so hard to do that on short track races.
Yes,
where
it
these
is.
guys get all jacked up.
Right behind that threesome is David Rudiman in the 32, and he's sort of laying back saying, I'm going to let you three sort of fight this out. Here comes Eric Darnell in the 6, right alongside the 32 of Rudiman.
Well, that's what Scott Wimmer did on that restart. He watched the first 2 guys go in there, take each other almost to the big track, and he just drove right underneath them.
Darnell's going to go high on the 32. Uh-oh, Darnell's got that rub again.
Looks like they didn't get it cleared off enough.
Or he got hit again.
Well, he could have knocked it back in again. You're exactly right, because they did make that pit stop early to clear that left front.
Well, it makes it weak. You know, after you bend the piece of metal, it makes it weak. And he just touches it, and it falls right back in on the tire.
Well, Darnell's got fresher tires than the rest of the field now. Remember, he pitted about lap 20.
Look right on the bottom. Here comes Trevor Bayne.
Boy, talking about what the tires do. Just like you say, Trevor Bayne pitted, Randy. He's got those new tires on, and they're going through the field. And this is something that the guys need to take a look at late in the race to see how important these new tires really are.
Bayne is 12th, trying to get 11th from the 32. Back on board.
I will tell you, this racetrack creates some great side-by-side racing designed the way it is. But look at the damage on all of these cars. Almost every one of these cars have got donut marks, right front fenders beat up on the left front and the right front. A lot of damage already.
Man, I think they brought more police here for all the donuts they're having here.
Bayne got around the 32, but here comes Rudiman right back on him, trying to do it on the low side. Meanwhile, Bayne's going to go underneath the 38 of Leffler. Hang on.
The 3 Toyotas, they're battling out right now. Hey, those cars have been strong all year long. All 3 of these cars, the Braun cars, Michael Waltrip's number 99. Got a great race going on tonight.
Remember, Bayne pitted on lap 50. He restarted 24th back on lap 54 when we went back to green flag racing. Here we are working lap number 66, and he has fought his way back up into 11th. Take a look on the right side. That is 3rd place, and you're looking at Carl Edwards getting around Brad Keselowski.
And we're only 66 laps in this race right now, and that 60 cars come from tailback all the way up to the front. And it sounds like he's going to have to do it tomorrow at the big track in Indies where he qualified real bad. Jack?
Rusty, remember when Trevor Bayne came in, he was complaining that the temperature, the water temperature, had spiked to 265. They removed a sizable piece of tape, and the water temperature has gone down. But right now, Jerry Baxter keeps telling his young driver, be patient and don't use the tires up. I just checked in their pits. They have 1 full set of sticker tires left for the rest of this race.
And this is still the best action side by side on the racetrack. Scott Wimmer has opened up a 2.2-second lead. I don't know what they did to that race car, but he is flying right now over Ron Hornaday, Carl Edwards. And there he is in the number 5. His last win back in March of '08. He won at Nashville. Can he win tonight? Well, we're still early in this one. Well, let's take a look at our Holiday Inn race summary, and you can see we've had 3 leaders and a total of 2 lead changes. Right now our leader is Scott Wimmer by 3.1 seconds over Ron Hornaday. The average speed 70.4. 32 cars on the lead lap. One of those reasons is because we've had 4 cautions for 23 laps. We have 8 cars right now officially out of the race. And there is your race leader, Scott Wimmer. And we've got a chance, so why don't we go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance. And Mike, start off with you.
And this team calculated the sensitivity of this track perfectly. They anticipated it getting a little bit tight, and at the beginning of the race, well, he had a little bit of a drift, was drifting off the corner, and well, since the track has cooled down, it's gotten a little bit tighter. Scott Wimmer's car is pretty good right now, not complaining as he pulls away from the field. The guy he's pulling away from, well, that's the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Hornaday had been pretty good, but the car has suddenly got a little bit tighter. Maybe a product of the right front fender damage. It's only minor, but it's affected the handling. Meanwhile, Carl Edwards, he started at the very back of the field, but has made a very hard charge to the front. Can't quite get by Hornaday. He's feeling like the car is pretty good, just a little bit tight middle. It would like to have a little more front grip. Shannon?
We've already documented the fact that Kyle Busch started this race in the back of the field. I spoke with his crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe. He told me he was most concerned about the fact that this race might go green. He said it would not give them a chance to stay on the lead lap, would not give them a chance to adjust on this race car. Well, the cautions have played into this team's hand. They came down on lap 40. They put 4 tires of track bar adjustment. Kyle Busch is happy with this car, guys.
And right now he should be, because he has moved up right behind Carl Edwards and Ron Hornaday. That's 2nd, 3rd, 4th. There they are on your screen.
Yeah, right now we're at lap 80. I will tell you, a lot of these guys are hoping the caution comes out now, because they don't want to get stuck out there on a long green flag run. They can go about 120 laps on fuel. And we had so many caution flags early, they just stayed out there.
Remember, Kyle restarted 26 back on lap 44 after pitting. It may have paid some dividends here early, as he has the high line on the 60 of Carl Edwards, and he's got him clear.
I tell you, it's just amazing what these double file restarts have done for these guys who started in the back. They knocked out a lot of the slower cars pretty quickly early, and then on the double files, brought them right back up to the back of these guys, and boy, he played it like a fiddle. It's worked out perfect for him.
There you can see all the way back to Brad Keselowski. That is 2nd through 5th. You're saying, where's the race leader? You're going to have to go 3.5 seconds further down the road. He has got almost, I would say, 3/4 of a straightaway lead right now, to give you an idea what 3.5 seconds looks like.
Well, Marty, you need to remember one thing, too. Now, you see Trevor Bayne coming back through the field a little bit.
He's playing bumper tag with the 6 car. I've been watching this the last 3 or 4 laps.
These guys practice today. It's night now. These cars are really getting ready to change a lot. It's not pitch black here yet at O'Reilly Raceway Park, but the temperatures cooled down a lot, and I see a lot of these cars handling a lot different than they did to start.
Darnell is 9th. Bain is 10th. Ruderman is in 11th in the 32.
Guys, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Rusty, you're going to like this. It's the boy. Steven is coming. He's consistently about 1/10 of a second quicker than the 5 car.
Take a look at the battle for second. For a moment there, it was 3 wide, and Carl Edwards thought better of it. He's going to let Kyle Busch try the low line in the 18, the 33 of Hornaday on the high side.
I'll tell you, that's definitely not the quick way around the racetrack. All of them gaggled up, all 4 cars side by side. But, man, these fans are going crazy at this track. They're on their feet.
Kyle down low again. Hornaday says, thank you. I'll just pull away for a little bit. Let you 3 fight it out behind me.
That's right. And Carl says, okay, you pass me up on the high side. I'm going to pin you down the bottom. I'm going to run the high side.
Randy, does it really kill the tires running down low, or is it just easier on the tires up top?
Well, it all depends. We heard Kyle say this morning his car was loose up high and tight down low. So wherever your car is happy is where you want to run it. Does it one or the other wear the tires more? I don't think so.
It just looks like the guys are driving twice as hard on the bottom of the track. And the guys on the top just got that momentum. They're working that track. And man, I tell you what, it is tough on them.
Take a look. That's the battle for 10th place right now as Trevor Bayne and David Rudeman going after each other.
Remember, Rudeman hasn't been here in a long time. These were some of the first laps. He just jumped in his 32 car and took off, and that's the same car that Reed Sorensen runs so good with at Gateway last week, finished second in it.
While all this is going on, take a look. Here's the battle going on between Brad Keselowski and the 60 of Carl Edwards. That is for third on the racetrack. Slower vehicle up in front. The 31 is Travis Kittleson. He is one of 4 cars that are still out on the track that are at least 1 lap down. So that means we have 29 cars on the lead lap.
Talk about Travis Kittleson. I'm so used to seeing him drive that Bob Steele Chevrolet in that ASA series. The guy's done a really good job in that series. Talked to him today. He's just trying to have a good run tonight.
While all this action is going on, the race leader, Scott Wimmer, his lead has been cut into slightly. It's down to 2.8 seconds, but he's led more laps today than he has in his last 35 starts. Could it be a time for a win for Wimmer? We're under our 5th caution here after 91 laps at O'Reilly Raceway Park, and our race leader is leading everybody down to pit lane. And Shannon, they're heading your way.
Woo! It's going to be a busy pit road right now. Tight center off, tight in is what Kyle Busch is saying. They're taking 4 tires, going to make a track bar adjustment and a wedge adjustment. Jack Arute.
Meanwhile, for Matt Kenseth, he has had, as he goes in, they're going to make a track bar adjustment going up 1 full turn, but he's been having a problem with this throttle sticking, Mike Massaro.
And Scott Wimmer saying he needs a lot more front grip. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. They're also going to drop the track bar a half around, a 4-tire change on the 5 car as a complete service on the right side, swinging around to the left side. A good stop for the 5. Meanwhile, Ron Hornaday making his stop as well. He very tight, a 4-tire change there, and he's away.
There's the race off pit road. Kyle Busch picks up 4. Scott Wimmer drops 1. Hornaday drops 2. Keselowski drops 1. And look at Stephen Light, under +6. All right, we're under this 5th caution because of what happened to Chase Austin, and he gets a little nudge.
Yeah, got a little help from Shelby Howard.
And Chase did such a good job of qualifying. I believe he qualified 16th. Man, his night's over. He just needed a track time. He needed experience, guys.
He was running 24th when he hit the wall, and they're behind the wall trying to get it fixed. All right, right now, it looks like Jason Keller, who stayed out, he pitted back on lap number 50. So he will take over the race lead. Kyle's crew's happy. He could end up 2nd out of this deal. Stay with us. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help keep you have a winning fuel strategy. Talk about the Brickyard 400 presented by Golden Corral. It's tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern on ESPN. 7 races are left in the race to the chase, and Mark Martin is going to lead them to the green flag. We'll see it all happen unfold tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern time. All right, the 77 Peyton Sellers and the 61 of Matt Carter, too fast entering, so they got to do a pass through. Meanwhile, Jason Keller is your race leader, and Kyle Busch is underneath him on the inside. We're back to green.
Not for long. Kyle Busch says, okay, I'll take my 50-year-old newer tires, and I'm checking out.
Yeah, Jason almost slid up to the wall. You could see that from the aerial view, and he has dropped back to 4th just that quickly. And here comes Scott Wimmer on that low line early again.
Man, take a look at Trevor Bayne, 3 wide, stuck in the center right there. And these double front restarts on these fresh tires are letting them do. Look at this. Kenseth on the bottom. Hornaday in the center. Keller up top.
Yeah, Jason's going back. I think he's going to regret staying out on the older tires.
He could be saving a set for late in the race, though, too.
Could be, as long as he stays on that lead lap. And we have a total of 29 cars on the lead lap. Good point, Randy.
Boy, they are using the aprons, the top. They're all over the place. Look at David Rudem right there, running down the center of the racetrack.
He's in the 32.
He's got better tires. He can stand on it and try to get around Jason Keller.
Oh, look at
Darnell. Darnell's on the grass. Yeah.
tracking and mowing at the same time.
Well, he wants to run the bottom so nobody messes with that fender.
See Kenny Wallace making a 3 wide underneath Keller. Keller sees him coming and jumps out of the way.
There's 4 wide in some stretches right there. Holy smokes, these guys are aggressive tonight. Darnell looking underneath the 28. Next time by, we will be halfway. We're working lap 100 of 200.
This thing's going so fast. I can't believe we're already halfway through this race. 3 wide on the entry. Stephen Wallace is center. Gets in front of Raines.
There's Justin Allgaier. You're looking out from Jason Leffler. Leffler right now is running 18th.
Ooh, a little contact right there. Allgaier spun in practice off of turn 2 and didn't hit anything. Did a great job of driving. You saw Jason Leffler get beside him just then and held on. Mike?
And guys, just to give you an idea how much this racetrack has changed, at the beginning of the race, Leffler was all over his radio complaining that he just could not get on the throttle the way he wanted to, could not be aggressive. Well, the track has tightened up just enough so that the car's turning much better, saying the car right now, the best it's been all night as he tries to drive to the front.
Well, and you also notice the 12 and the 62. Allgaier in the 12, he is the leader in the Rookie of the Year point standings by 11 over the 62 of Brendan Gaughan, so he wants to get back ahead of him. Sort of pad that lead, so we got a battle within the battle, and there's Leffler right in between both of them. And poor Jason Keller keeps sliding further and further back. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, we'll tell you that Kyle Busch leads Carl Edwards, there he is, by about 0.4 of a second. Let's get more on the 60 from Mike.
Well, Marty, you've heard the phrase, I'm sure, luck of the draw. Well, that certainly applies to Carl Edwards. He drew a very late qualifying spot over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Because of that, he was able to stay and practice here much longer than most of the double-duty drivers. In fact, I spoke with his crew chief, Dan Stillman, earlier today, and he said that was critical. Because of the extra 20 minutes or so he was able to spend here, they made 2 more changes. That final change he made in practice was the change that really fixed this race car and made it come to life.
Well, the last time Carl started at the rear due to a driver change was Milwaukee back in June. That was his only win of the season so far.
You know, guys, you look at these 2 lead cars. Both of these guys started in the back of the pack. Both of these cars are super clean.
Take a look a little bit further back. The battle for 10th as you're looking at Darnell, Stephen Light on board with Stephen Wallace. Let's get more on the 29, Shannon.
Stephen Wallace has definitely been battling some conditions in this car. He needs more forward bite, and he's been loose. They've been making some track bar adjustments every time they come down pit road. This is a track that Stephen Light had a lot of faith coming into, a lot of confidence. He's run some ASA races here. He said, I feel comfortable. I know this racetrack, and I know it can get it done, and this has been a great run for him so far today.
Trying to look underneath. He's going to try that low line on Light. You're on board with him.
Yeah, Stephen had a bad pit stop a little while ago. Oh, they get loose, and that's a big advantage for the 66.
Darnell?
That's right. Okay, go keep sliding.
Darnell's into the wall. He checked up on turn 4, and then into turn 2, he loses it. He's going to lose several spots.
Darnell looks like he just got loose getting in the corner and just tore that car to pieces.
Damage on the right rear quarter panel at least, and he is getting past like a slow freight.
Randy, it looks like he got up in the marbles, I call it. All the rubber built up on the outside of the track. Actually got in the corner just a little bit too high and lost that car.
Well, that's what happens when he got up on the loose stuff coming out of 4. He went into 1 and just had no grip. Slid up and hit the fence.
Take a look at your race leader, Kyle Busch. You know, it's the 19th race he has led this year in the Nationwide Series. We've only had 20 of them, folks. It's the 17th consecutive. What a streak this guy has got going.
And Carl Edwards is sitting here, he's like, how can I make up points on this cat? He's always in front of me.
Take another look at some of this action.
You saw Darnell get loose coming off the corner and it caused the 29 of Stephen Light to check up. Let's watch Eric get in the corner now, just loose.
It looked like he might have had a right rear tire going down.
Yeah, it looks like the same to me, Randy, because he had that loose condition off of 4, and then the thing just spun around on him getting into 1.
You saw the green flag pit stop for Eric Darnell. This is going to cost him valuable time on the track. It's going to put him several laps down. Take a look at Kenseth now in the 16th. He has moved up to 4th. In fact, 3 of our top 5 runners are double-duty drivers who started in the rear. And there's 2 of them. Kyle Busch, can he win again for win number 7? and 2 years in a row at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Oh, we are working lap number 118 here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, the 28th running of this great race. As you are looking at the battle for the race lead, these guys started in the back. Kyle Busch leading Carl Edwards. And Edwards keeps trying that low line where the track flattens out. He gets alongside, but can't finish it.
Side by side. Look at him bomb that baby in the corner right now. Just trying to get traction on the bottom of the racetrack and get alongside Kyle Busch so he can try to outdrive him, get down into the next corner.
You know what? This is so much fun to watch, but you know what? They are just getting more and more agitated in these race cars because, like, okay, I get a run, I can drive up next to the guy in the middle of the corner, drive off the corner, he pulls away from me.
Well, running side by side like this has really kind of slowed their lap time is down a little bit, about 1/10 of a second to the third place car, who is Scott Wimmer. And just last time by, Scott Wimmer actually had the fastest car in the field.
Now, Wimmer's loving this because it's going to give him a chance to reel him in. And here comes some lap traffic. Kittleson is right in front of him with the 31. And take a look as Carl makes the slide job work coming out of 2.
All right, now he can use the whole racetrack. He can run his line. He can run the bottom, the top, whatever he wants.
Take a look at the battle for 5th place. It's the 88, Brad Keselowski, side by side with Ron Hornaday, last night's truck winner. Keselowski, whoa, they touch, but both cars stay under control. A little nudge there.
Early I saw Keselowski get in the back of this 33, and the 33 of Hornaday's like, hey, buddy, take that one. That's payback,
right,
man.
And you've seen Brad's hand come out the window. You know, he didn't give him the one-finger salute, but he said, okay, guys, we're even. Let's go on racing. Right behind these guys, Trevor Bayne and Stephen Wallace are coming back through the pack very fast.
Yeah, Keselowski is 5th, Hornaday 6th, Trevor Bayne is now in 7th, Stephen Wallace is 8th, and Kenny Wallace is running 9th. He's got a great run going tonight. There is Bayne. Right now, 3 of our top 4 started at the rear. You're looking at the race leader, Carl Edwards. Let's go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance. Mike?
And Marty, I was talking with Carl Edwards crew chief Dan Stillman this morning about his perspective on the championship race. As you know, they trailed the 18 team by 212 points. He said, we're extremely frustrated. When you look at our numbers, any other year, this would probably be good enough to at least be leading the championship chase. He's right, too. In 9 of their last 11 races, they finished no worse than 6th. Still, the 18 car has been able to get away, Shannon.
Kyle Busch has not been able to shake the tight conditions on this 18 car, despite the fact that they've made some track bar adjustments and wedge adjustments. This is the same car that Kyle Busch drove to victory lane last year here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. In fact, the car has not been on the track since then, according to Jason Ratcliffe. So they definitely have confidence that they can get this car together and possibly drive to victory lane. Mike?
Well, as we've all gotten to know Scott Wimmer over the years, Shannon, we know he's pretty quiet, but you know, he hasn't said a word over the radio, really, other than the fact that he's a little bit free at the beginning of a run. Now, since the sun has gone down, it's gotten cooler. The racetrack has certainly tightened up, and his car is performing much better. Not nearly as loose at the beginning of this run as it was last time, Jack.
Mike, your 4th place car, Matt Kenseth, was complaining of a sticking throttle. He was also complaining of a super tight condition. Eddie Pardue and the crew did a track bar adjustment during his pit stop, and when he depressed the clutch, it solved for the pit stop. It solved the sticking throttle. He likes his race car right now, Mike Massaro.
Brad Keselowski real excited with the way his car restarts. He really gets a lot of momentum. The one problem he has, though, he says he needs to be a little bit more free in the center. The car's just gotten a little bit too tight. They need to correct that if they have the opportunity. Behind him, Ron Hornaday, well, we mentioned he was a little bit tight because of some right front fender damage. But when they came down pit road last time, they fixed that fender. The car is much better right now. The only concern, though, Hornaday came over the radio not too long ago saying the brakes might be an issue, Shannon.
Mike, behind him, Stephen Wallace in the 66 car. The car is free off. They did make an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires on their pit stop on lap 91. But you've got to give a whole lot of credit to Stephen Wallace. Despite the run-in with Trevor Bayne, he has been able to stay solidly in the top 10 all night long. He stayed calm, he stayed cool, and he's been running up front.
And Shannon, the guy that Stephen Wallace collected in the accident, and your pole sitter, Trevor Bayne, is is trying to conserve his car, but it is very tight in the middle of each corner. Jerry Baxter continues to school his young driver and reminds him that they have a long way to go. Shannon?
Guys, Kenny Wallace in that 28 car, always excited when he comes to these types of tracks, knows that he has a chance to run up front, which is what he's doing right now. He had a 5th place finish back here in 2002. It's 9th place right now for Kenny Wallace in the 28, and they're currently 15th in the points, looking for a good run here tonight.
Moments ago, David Ruderman came over the radio and said, guys, we have no forward bite. Trent Owens responded by saying, we'll lower the track bar next time down, trying to give you that forward bite. And he also gave him some encouragement, said, just keep doing what you're doing. You're catching them right now.
There's your top 10. Jason Leffler, Stephen Light, Mike Conway, Brendan Gaughan, and Justin Allgaier round out your top 15. Now, here are the cars that are out of the race. We have a total of 8 of them right now. We can tell you, while you look at this list, Mike Bliss and Michael Annett have both gotten back into the race. Bliss is 82 laps down. Annett is 93 laps. But hats off to the crew for working hard to get their drivers back out on the track. For Carl Edwards, he has led only 1 lap in his 4 previous O'Reilly Raceway starts. Well, tonight, he's led 13, and he's out in front of Kyle Busch right now, right where he needs to be. Let's take a look at our Verizon Wireless race rundown. This was the tough break suffered by both Scott Lagasse in the 11 and Mike Bliss. Bliss is back out on the track, although 82 laps down. Lagasse is out. Then the pace car comes out, surprises leader Trevor Bayne. He checks up, and Stephen Wallace gets into him. They had to back up several spots. And look at these two, Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch, come all the way from the back to the front, and they are now running first and second, with Edwards in front of Kyle, with Scott Wimmer in third, and then Matt Kenseth fourth, and Brad Keselowski in fifth. And take a look as Wimmer's got his mirrors full of the 16 of Kenseth.
I watched him earlier. He's coming to the front. He caught the 5 car. He's going to be going by the 5 car, heading to the Kyle Busch.
So it really looks like Wimmer early in the race when the track was hotter, Marty, was a lot better than he is right now.
Take a look. We can add one more to that. They have gained 148 total positions between Busch, Edwards, Ruderman, and of course Matt Kenseth. Kenseth now makes it a 1, 2, 3 for the double duty drivers that started in the rear. And remember that the last 7 races have been won by someone in the top 10, and 20 of the 27 have been won from the top 10. This is going to be a heck of a finish.
You know what that tells me? It tells me this is a pretty physical race. When you look at all these cars, like I said earlier in the broadcast, they are beat all up, except for 3 or 4 cars, and that's about it.
Well, these guys are earning their pay tonight. You can watch all these guys get out of these race cars. They're going to be slapped, wore out.
And it also shows those guys running first, second, and third. That's why they are double duty. That's why they're running the Cup Series. They are flat good. Take a look right now. As you can see, Wimmer's trying to reel back in Matt Kenseth, but he's starting to lose some ground. Kenseth has got some slower traffic right in front of him there. That is the 20 of Brad Coleman. Remember, Coleman got some contact on the very first lap, and he has been fighting a ill-handling race car the rest of the evening. He is running 22nd right now, 1 lap down. In fact, we now have 16 cars on the lead lap. Let's get an update from Shannon Spade.
Well, guys, the 20 team has definitely earned their money tonight. They've been on and off pit road, I would say, about 10 times ever since the incident on the very first lap. They've taken rubbers out of the car, put rubbers in. The car has gone from loose to tight, handling just all over the place. It's pretty surprising because I did speak to Dave Rogers before the race. He said he was really happy with the car, really happy with the handling. So, Rusty, how much can a wreck like that, damage like that, affect the handling of the race car?
This has really hurt Brad Coleman, Shannon. There's no doubt about that. The right rear quarter panels on these cars are very, very important. They try to get them very, very flat, and this car has got the right rear quarter panel caved in big time, and it's got to make it really loose.
All right, thanks, guys. As you see the damage right there on Coleman's car as he continues 1 lap down, as we mentioned, in 22nd position. Talk about the Brickyard 400 presented by Golden Corral. It's tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN. 7 races left in the race to the chase. And the Indianapolis Sprint Cup winner went on to win the championship in 7 of the last 11 seasons. Who wins tomorrow? Tune in on ESPN at 12:30. All right, who wins it tonight? Is it going to be Carl Edwards? Well, he's the race leader right now. But I'll tell you what, Matt Kenseth, 5 seconds back. Kyle Busch, 2.3 seconds behind. Carl Edwards may be in the driver's seat, but for how long? Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New Fuel Max tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. What a great view with the lights here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. And we welcome you back to the Kroger 200. We're working lap number 154 of 200, and we have been green now for 57 laps.
And boy, this is the part of the race where it really shows who's got the best car.
Take a look at the battle. This is for fourth. You've got Brad Keselowski trying to get around Wimmer. Wimmer's got fourth. Keselowski wants it. And here comes
the 66 is going to go by both of these guys. Stevens consistently the fastest car on the racetrack. He's ready to go drive down the bottom and says, I'm out of here, guys. Let's not have another caution. I'm going to run down the leader and pass him.
Oh, man, he has got a fantastic car tonight. And look at that right front damage. Randy said he was loose, and that right front creates downforce. I just wonder if it helped this car to handle better yet with the damage.
Well, and the longer the run goes, we've seen some cars fall off. Wimmer's one of them. Another one is Ron Hornaday. He's dropped all the way back to 9th.
One of the things here that I've seen on Stevens' car, he's running the lowest line out of everybody. He's consistently running the middle of the racetrack to the bottom of the racetrack. His car is very fast.
It looks like he gets in a corner low, goes up high, the diamonds a corner, and just shoots off those corners on the bottom. We'll see him pull this thing down close to the line, then rocket straight up. But really getting in the corner deep. Let's watch his closure on the 88. This is where he turns down right here, picks the throttle up, and that's where this flat part of the racetrack is really not desirable, but it's working for him.
Seems to be. While all this continues, we'll just let you know everything's holding station up front. Carl Edwards is your race leader. That's the view from the outside between these two. They're battling it out for fourth position. On board now with Brad.
Stevens done a great job all night long to get thrown to the back of the pack for something that really wasn't his doing. He's kept his cool. Man, he's fixing to have a very good night.
There you can see his last lap, 103, much quicker than the leader's last lap at 101. Just what you were talking about, Randy.
And this is a tempting part of the race, so to dive that thing in side by side with the leader, get into turn 3. Randy, it seems like turn 3 can handle it better, but when they get down the middle of turn 1 and 2, I see these guys all getting loose if they get pinned on the bottom.
It is. As equal as this racetrack is, both corners, here comes Steven. Going to probably clear him on this lap.
He's got him.
He's got him.
It looks like Brad just gave it to him, too.
So move Wallace up to 4th. Brad goes back to 5th. That's Jason Keller right there in the 27. And Keller has really fallen off. He is now 3 laps down.
He would have never thought they were going to go 60 laps on the green. That's why he didn't pit back at lap 90.
Yeah, and it's really cost him. He's been hung out to dry.
I tell you, this new crew chief we got, Trip Bruce, who was Johnny Benson's crew chief on his championship winning truck last year, has really done a job for us. Just really got it going.
All right, we mentioned the 33 of Ron Hornaday was sliding backwards. He's in 9th position. Let's get an update, Mike Massaro.
And Marty, you've got to believe he's hoping for a caution soon. He wants to come down pit road and adjust that race car. It has suddenly got awfully tight, and they think they went too far on their adjustment during the last pit stop. They made an air pressure adjustment, but just went too far. The car will not turn. They need to correct that soon.
Well, remember last night's truck race? Mike Skinner took tires with 35 to go and almost won the race.
Tell you what, Mike Massaro, the right front fender on the 33 of Ron Hornaday has got a lot of damage, and that will definitely make the car push, and that is more damage than the 66 has got, and that's got to be the problem for Hornaday because he was really good until that happened.
We can tell you there's 13 cars on the lead lap. Justin Allgaier is the first car down 1 lap. Now there is the 60 of Carl Edwards, 3.3 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch. Shannon, what's the story on the 18?
Well, you heard Mike just say how Ron Hornaday is needing a caution so badly. Well, the 18 is in the same boat. He says, I have no front tires. Told his crew, I'm done. There's nothing I can do. So they're definitely looking for a caution so they can get some Ford Rush tires.
Well, the top 10 all pitted back on lap number 92. So they're all basically in the same boat. It's just a matter of who has saved what they can to this moment. And right now, it's Carl Edwards with a 3.5-second lead over that man right there, the 18 of Kyle Busch. Who wins this? Well, we're about to find out. We're going to have 35 to go this time by here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Back here at O'Reilly Raceway Park, we had 73 green flag laps. That's the longest stretch we've had in the last 5 races at this track. But Justin Allgaier got it turned around. He was the first car 1 lap down. And he brought out our 6th caution. He was running 15th at the time. There you see he is coming into pit lane. And tires. Let's take a look, see what happened.
Yeah, I tell you, he just gets flat loose off the corner.
Same thing he did this morning.
Yeah, these tires are just getting wore out in these cars. They got plenty of Sunoco fuel. They just don't have enough good tires right now. These guys can make it to the end on fuel if that caution wouldn't have come out, but the tires are really starting to wear right now, and that was causing a problem.
That's earlier today.
All right, question is, they really don't need any Sunoco fuel. They all want tires, right?
They all want tires. Well, they're going to take fuel too, Marty. No doubt about that. I mean, this is great for everybody. 30 to go. What's going to happen? And they're all going to go crazy right now, though. We're going to see the race of our life these last laps.
Well, Carl Edwards has peeled off. So has the 18 right behind him, as is the 16 of Matt Kenseth. And Shannon, they're heading your way.
Marty, Kyle Busch's team did a 13-second pit stop on the last one. Right now, it's 4 tires only for this 18 car and Sunoco fuel. Jack.
Sunoco fuel for Matt Kenseth as well. The car has begun to get a little loose coming out of the corner, and it's still tight. So they'll put 4 new Dr. Feelgood Goodyears on for Matt Kenseth, and they will go the distance. Mike.
And Carl Edwards saying he's a little bit loose off, but telling his crew chief Dan Stillman, don't go too far. Just make a very small wedge adjustment. That's what they'll do. A 4-tire change, but a problem with the 60. Got boxed into his box, couldn't get out, had to push it back and head back on out, but he loses significant time on pit road.
And you can see as the cars come out, the race off pit road, Kyle Busch picks up a 1. Carl Edwards loses 1. So that one brief moment may have cost Carl Edwards a chance at victory. Let's take another look and see what happened.
Okay, we've checked these pit stalls. Car goes down, he has to get out, and the car doesn't get turned quick enough. He has to back up.
And that's enough to cost him 1 position on the track, and his nemesis in the points championship is the guy who benefits. He's right out in front. Stay with us. We're heading for the checkered flag. They're out.
Next. It is stink.
All right, let's get a quick energy motorsports calendar here. 5-hour energy is going to be presenting NASCAR now at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then Sunday night, really about 12:30 a.m. Monday, we got it's presented by the Home Depot, Monday 5 Eastern for NASCAR now as well on ESPN2. And then we got the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, the Brickyard 400 presented by Golden Corral, 12:30 Eastern on ESPN. Plus drag racing from out on the West Coast in Sonoma tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN2. And then we'll be in Iowa next week, presented by DoGoDaddy.com, August 1st, 4 Eastern on ESPN. Kyle Busch is going to take the outside on the restart. There's Jason Radcliffe. He has helped his driver make the call. Here it is. It's Edwards 2nd, Kenseth 3rd, Keselowski 4th, Stephen Wallace 5th. Green flag's out. Who's going to win it?
I'm not sure those guys have their belts tight, but there's not a single person sitting down here tonight.
That turn 1 is a tough turn side by side like they've been doing, but they've got a little bit more spread out than I anticipate them this time around.
Taking a look on the inside, that's Carl Edwards in the 60. Can he get underneath? No. Oh, he touches him. They come down, no serious harm, and then look a little further back. That was Stephen Wallace getting some sparks alongside of Trevor Bayne. Here comes Carl one more time. Can't get it done. Looks like everybody survived the contact back a little further.
Boy, that is aggressive. I mean, getting in the corners. These guys are just laying on each other, beating on each other, sparks flying out front of the cars, tearing the right front fenders off.
Saw in the back, that was Trevor Bayne trying to get underneath Scott Wimmer. Can't get that done. Here comes Carl Edwards one more time, taking a peek.
Short track, Saturday night racing doesn't get any better, guys.
And you're right, this crowd, which is a great crowd tonight, standing all around this racetrack, watching these two go after it. First and second in the points. First and second on the track.
Tell you what, I need to crash home, but this thing's making me nervous. These guys are on it.
Staying lean, mean, and green. These two have raced each other very clean. And here comes Carl going deep into the low end. Here he slides up, has to get out of the throttle. Kyle holds the spot.
He is, look at his shoot to the inside right now. He's going to have to dive bomb this thing, get the 18 car of Kyle Busch up in those marbles, get him loose, because I think that's what he's going to have to do to get around him.
Kenseth has Keselowski right behind him, and then Stephen Wallace just a little bit further back. But this is the battle for the race lead. Here comes Carl again. Takes another look underneath. Can he clear him coming out of 4?
And he's got to be a little bit careful because he's got this right front tore up this fender just a little bit from beating on the 18 car. But he might get him this time by.
Going into 2, coming out to look at him. Hacksaw on the wheel, and he clears him.
Got him. Now he's got that clean air. Can probably get out of Dodge right now.
You know, Carl Edwards, he's not scared to pull a slide job. He did this at 200 miles an hour. You know, what's 140?
Edwards won here in 2003 in the Truck Series. Oh, and you see that Kyle tagged the wall.
These guys are using all the driving experience they got. Boy, Kyle's got some damage. It looks like a lot of concrete jammed up in his right front wheel.
Kyle may be in a bit of trouble here at O'Reilly Raceway Park with 20 laps to go.
You just can't use these cars up like you do the NASCAR Cup Series cars, the car tomorrows. Those cars are tougher. Look at the damage down the right side, but it's not significant.
Well, what happens when they flatten the wheels out, he's going to have a vibration now. He's probably complaining that he has a vibration. Well, he just drove it into the fence. You know, I mean, that usually doesn't help a lot of things.
Oh, look at Matt Kenseth on the outside trying to get around Kyle.
So since he brushed the wall, and now he's under attack to hold on to second spot, he cannot even worry about getting around. Take a look at the battle for fourth a little bit further back. You've got Brad Keselowski in the 66 of Stephen Wallace. There's some lap traffic in front of him, and he's just dive bombing to the bottom of the track to get out of the way.
Well, Stephen knows he's got the fastest car in the field, and he's just trying to get some clean track and get that baby in front. Best car he's had all year long.
Now, all of a sudden, Kyle Busch showing some life again. So maybe whatever was holding him up after the brush with the wall has dissipated.
And Carl can't seem to get away like I thought he was going to, guys. Like I said, a little bit of damage in the right front of Carl Edwards' car might be just slowing him up just a little bit.
Carl was away, but he got in trouble with a lap car. He had to go almost to the apron down the backstretch.
Guys, this is almost a carbon copy of last night's truck race. Top 4 were duking it out down the stretch. Now we've got the top 5 in the Nationwide Series here at ORP. And look, as you're on board with Stephen Wallace, he's trying to get underneath the 88 of Keselowski.
Guys, this is what NASCAR needs. This is what the fans love, side-by-side, short track racing. These people are going crazy here. And you know what? They're going to see it again next week.
That's right, going to Iowa. Hang on there. Take a look. That'll be a debut race. The Nationwide Series has never raced there until next week. And Stephen Wallace has cleared Keselowski, moved Stephen up to 4th.
Stephen has put on a wonderful show tonight. Kept his head when he could have very easily got upset and thrown it all out the window. He has a great car. When you have a good race car, you have to take advantage of these nights. He's been killed on pit road, but he's still kept all the fenders on it, and he's driving up. He can get a top 2 out of this thing.
Ken Butler give him a tip of the hat. He got his number 23 out of the way for the 5 cars on the race lead. Take a look at Stephen. He is taking a peek at the 16 of Matt Kenseth. We have 14 laps to go.
Well, Randy, it's so tempting. I mean, we all talked about the top side of the racetrack being the preferred line, but he keeps running on the bottom and making it work down there.
Yeah, he's been there all night. He found a lane that race car liked. It's fast. He's been consistently the fastest car all night long, and it's working, man.
So he pulls that thing down the yellow line, stands on the throttle. It looks like John Force off the corner alongside of Kenseth right there.
Still got a corner underneath. Cannot make the pass, though, as Kenseth holds on. Those 3 cars in front are first, second, and third. That's how close this race is.
Trying to do the dive bomb move, and Matt Kenseth getting into turn 3. Get that left front down to the bottom, trying to drag race him off the corner. It's been working all night long for him.
We talked earlier, Matt Kenseth hasn't been here in 10 years. Doesn't take that long to remember how to get around this place.
You're right, Randy. Kenseth is a great driver. You know, he's so good on the short tracks. He cut his teeth up in Wisconsin, and this is his style of racing. These short tracks, he knows how to get it done.
Looking on board with Brad Keselowski. While all this goes on, we can tell you that race leader Carl Edwards has clinched the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. We are down to 10 to go here at O'Reilly Raceway Park. And again, taking a look is Stephen Wallace. Trying that low line, sliding up a little bit. Maybe the tires look like they might be going away. A little bit further back, battle for 7.
Whoa!
Trevor Bayne in the 99, Jason Leffler in the 38. Leffler's got the low line here.
And this looks like 2 years ago. That was Ruderman and Leffler.
Yeah.
Leffler ended up winning the race, and Ruderman run second.
And look at this. He's going to go inside, outside.
It's a crossover.
There you go. And Bayne, the 18-year-old rookie, says, I know that move.
You got to hand it to Trevor Bayne. I mean, grabbed the pole position, got caught up in that deal early, and he's kept the fenders on this car, driving this thing to the front. And look at that. He's ahead of Leffler. He's ahead of Wimmer. All of these good cars, and looking great out there tonight.
This has been a great race. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've got 8 laps to go. While you're watching this action, we can tell you Carl Edwards is 9/10 of a second ahead of Kyle Busch. Take a look at the 66. He is trying again as Stephen Wallace taking a peek underneath Matt Kenseth.
One of the things I've noticed what Kenseth has been doing, going into 3, he lowers his line just enough to really mess Stephen's timing up.
And here comes Keselowski. And all of a sudden, now the 16 comes down on the low side.
Boy, look at Keselowski going to the top side now. Whoa!
Are they going to try 3 wide? Yes, they are. And Keselowski, wow. I don't know how anybody didn't touch there.
That's one thing, this racetrack. You can race all over it. We've seen guys in the grass tonight.
Real tight getting into turn 3. Unbelievable.
They've got a lot of lap traffic in front of them. 6 laps remaining. Oh, look at Stevens shoot out around Morgan Shepherd. The former 3-time winners on the high side can't do anything but stay there.
Man, these guys are driving hard. This is the hardest I've seen these guys run all year long. I'm talking about all of them in that pile right there.
This is the best battle on the racetrack right now. The 20 car, Brad Coleman, is lap traffic. He is 1 lap down in 16.
Stevens says, okay, let me catch my breath. We got a second. I got nobody on the outside of me. I'm going after Kenseth again. I got 4 laps to get it done.
Well, he's got to set up Kenseth to get it done because Brad Keselowski, every time they get side by side, he starts working the top side of that racetrack and takes both of their lines away. He's got to be careful not to mess up because he's got some rhythm out there.
All right, Carl Edwards, there's the margin. It is now 1.5 seconds over second place Kyle Busch. This is the first time all year that Edwards has led the most laps. He'll cut into Kyle's lead, but not by that much. About 10 points if everything stays status quo. Take a look as this battle continues. Kenseth takes the low line.
Stevens a little lower.
And you see the lap car, Eric McClure, taking their line away, and that really hurt. Here comes Keselowski on the bottom now.
2 laps to go. White flag next time by for the race leader while all this is going on.
What a great race this has been. Here's a race right here. Another dive bomb into the corner, into turn 3. White flag's out.
White flag for Carl Edwards. He's in control here. He's 1.4 seconds ahead of second place. This is still the best battle on the racetrack, the battle for 3rd.
You don't think these guys are driving hard? These guys are sideways coming out of the corner.
Yeah, but you know what, Randy? They got good runs going now. This is the top 5. They can't screw it up. They've looked good all night long. They've gained some points.
Well, the streak of the winner coming out of the top 10 is going to be snapped at 7 years in a row because here comes Carl. He takes his 22nd Nationwide Series win. Second place, Kyle Busch. Matt Kenseth holds on. Brad Keselowski got around Stephen Wallace for 4th. There you see Hornaday, Bayne, Leffler, Wimmer, and Kenny Wallace with a great run into the top 10.
You got to hand it to that guy right there. Carl Edwards starting in the back.
Look how
driving
clean
his
that
brains
car is.
out.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Not a scratch on it.
He might have had some of that vitamin water in
Are you guys
drink.
wore out yet?
Oh, yeah.
I'm wore out now, I'll tell you that. What a race that was.
While we see Carl, think about this, Kyle Busch, 8th straight race where he has finished first or second. Unbelievable.
That race team, you know, is just phenomenal. We'll see what kind of shape Kyle's in. He just come whipping into pit lane a little hot.
Carl down at the finish line. His last win was back in June at Milwaukee. He picks up win number 2 of the year here tonight in front of a very enthusiastic crowd. Riley, Raceway Park, and look at him.
All right, let's see if he lands it. Here it comes.
Backflip success.
Well, you know, he's thinking, okay, I started in the back. He's going to be thinking all night long. I come over here, I did it. Can I do it tomorrow?
Guys, I think we just seen the best short track race of the year because of these double file restarts. It was amazing.
All right, Shannon, you've caught up with Kyle.
Yeah, down here with Kyle Busch, just assessing the damage on the right side of the car. We saw the contact with Carl Edwards. Do you think it was aggressive driving or just short track racing at its finest, Kyle?
A little bit of both, but short track racing at its finest right there, I guess. You know, we just didn't have a good car today. We fought it in practice, and that's a good way to come home second. After we fenced it there, we should have been further back. We should have fell back 5th, 6th or something, but yeah, we didn't give up there, and we made one more stop than Carl did and tried to make our car better on adjustments, but just didn't have it today. I feel like I know a couple things that we missed on, and Jason and I will try to make it better.
Your team did not give up today. They nailed it on pit road for you. You got to be pretty happy about this team. It's definitely a championship caliber right now.
Well, the guys on pit road have been flawless all year. You know, it comes down to that sometimes, and this year it might come down to that. You know, we've got such competitive cars, and you know, we're both talented drivers, but you know, sometimes it'll be pit road, and you know, other times it might be contact on the racetrack.
All right, Kyle Busch, another second place finish for him tonight at O'Reilly Raceway Park. Guys?
And he finished 10th last night in the trucks, and tomorrow he'll start 20th. And there is another view of Carl landing another perfect backflip. We'll talk to him when we come back.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at O'Reilly Raceway Park is brought to you by Prescription Flomax.
So as we look down from high above, Carl Edwards has made it to victory lane, and let's head there now.
And the celebration is on as Carl Edwards now embracing his second victory of 2009. High fives for his entire team. And, man, it wasn't easy. You had to start at the back of the field tonight. How were you able to do this?
Oh, man, just my guys. You know, it starts with Jack Roush. We've been working hard this season. And then all these fans out here, man, it's so cool to see this place packed and all the fans watching at home. But let's start from the beginning. We started in the back. It was a lot of fun coming up through the field. I knew Kyle was going to be really fast. And, man, I don't know what it looked like on TV, but that was one of the most fun races I've been a part of. I mean, he is a really good driver, and it means a lot to be able to race with him like that. And I got to thank Scott, Save a Lot. Ford Fusion's the best cars out there. And Aflac. It's so cool to be back here in Victory Lane for the second time this season.
It looked great on TV, by the way, to answer your question. But that battle with Kyle Busch, what was that like?
Well, first thing, I messed up in the pits. My guys did a great job, and actually almost ran over one of the guys on Scott Wimmer's team. I pulled up and I tried to put it in reverse to back up and had it in first gear. So I knew we were a little bit of a disadvantage when Kyle had the outside on the restart. But that one time we came off here and I misjudged and hooked him a little bit, and then we were racing real hard and he hit the fence. And you know, I'm like one eye closed, turning, and he hit the fence and then he hit me, and I thought, man, this is exciting. And just glad we didn't cut a tire, and just really cool to race with Kyle like that. That's fun, man. This would be a cool place to race about, I don't know, once a day.
I would say so. Hey, Marty, Saturday night short track racing at its best.
Well, you know what's really cool? It's fun to know that he was excited as we were up here.
We're not the only ones. Everybody who leaves here tonight is going to be super happy. They can't wait to come back here next year.
There's the points. 10 more chopped off by Carl over Kyle. It's down to 192. He's still in command.
Yeah, Kyle's still in command, but Carl's closed up just a little bit. It was an amazing race tonight.
Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the Brickyard 400. It's presented by Golden Corral, and that'll be on ESPN starting at 12:30 Eastern. Coming up next, we've got baseball tonight, and we want to congratulate one more time our winner here, Carl Edwards. He won here in the trucks back in 2003, and he wins tonight for Roush Fenway Racing and picks up his second win of the season. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For our entire ESPN crew, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks so much for joining us here on the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Till we meet again.